You're welcome. You're welcome today to the live broadcast. I'm excited. I'm excited to have you join us. I'm excited to have you join us today. If you are watching this broadcast at this point in time, please let me know in the comments and also let me know where you're watching from. I know this training is exclusive to people who signed up for the social networking immersion bootcamp, and we've had series of conversations, but this is another addition to all that we've been talking about. Here I'm going to just do a quick presentation so that we can have something that we can go back to as time permits. So wherever you're watching from, let me know in the comments. I'm waiting to see your comments. Wherever you're watching from, let me know. And if you can hear me clearly, please let me know you can hear me so that I would commence what we have planned for today. Oh, great. You're welcome, Brymo. You're welcome. If you can quickly put on the group and let every other one person join us here, let them know that we've started, because I'm going to jump right into it right now. Okay. Now this is the social networking immersion bootcamp, where you're going to be learning how to network effectively. You're going to be learning how to sell yourself. You're going to be learning how to position yourself on social media, and you're going to be learning a lot. I'm also going to be sharing my own personal experience and um, pointing you in the direction that you should go when you find yourself in such a situation, right? So make sure you have your pen, make sure you have your notepad, because all that I'm going to be sharing, I expect that you are going to be writing out action points for your next networking activity, right? Thank you very much for joining. Now, right into what we have planned for today. So, the objective is to ensure that you learn a new approach to networking. I know a lot of us are familiar with going to events, exchanging business cards, exchanging contacts, even exchanging social media usernames. I know you're familiar with all of that, and I'm sure that you have struggled with how to follow up on a conversation. You've also struggled with how to keep up, how to keep the conversation going. You've struggled with also, reaching out to those people that you have connected with. And some of those things are what I'm going to be addressing here today. Participants are going to unlearn, the beliefs and the mindset that is keeping them from networking effectively, from building quality relationships. Participants are also going to learn how to overcome shyness and then build relationships seamlessly. Participants will be able to connect with mentors and mentees alike. How do you build with network upward and network downwards, and also ensure that you're building a network with your peers, right? And some of those things you're going to be learning here today. Now, the 10 commandments of networking is pretty simple. It's a guide, right? It's a guide to debunk some of the ideas you have about networking and to imbibe new ways of thinking about it, because it's in how you think about a thing that's what informs your approach to that thing. And so today we'll talk about the first commandment, which is do not appear like the problem. Do not appear like the problem. A lot of us only wait for when we need help before we reach out to people. Now, that's a bad approach to networking, because on the other side, the person, once they see that you're reaching out to them, they're already thinking and they're already calculating that, okay, this person only is just reaching out to me because they need my help. The bulk of the time when you don't even need their help, you're not even checking up on them. You're not even, there's no ongoing conversation that shows that you are a person of value, right? And so that's some of the things that you need to really work on. That's some of the things that you need to really work on. You need to ensure that when you meet people, you create an experience that positions you as a valuable person, not as a problem, right? Not as a problem, but as a valuable person. And how do you do this? You can do this through a conversation, right? There are a lot of people right now that are doing businesses, and then there are some ways you can help to optimize the business they are doing, but you will not reach out to them. But when you now need their help, you expect them to in some way help you, right? You need to ensure that the relationships that you are building are value-based relationships. So networking is the building of mutually beneficial relationships. It's not just about going to conferences to collect cards, right, and then sending messages later to ask for help. No, it's about building a relationship that positions you in the eyes of the other person as a valuable contributor. And most of you have tried in some way to reach out to mentors or reach out to people that inspire you, but you're not able to get their attention. And the bulk of the time is because you are projecting yourself as a problem. And this is how you project yourself as a problem. You go on social media, you're reaching out to someone that maybe has just spoken at an event that you were a participant at, and then you are telling the person about all your problems, or you're telling the person about how that you need their help or how that you need their mentorship. But that is just another extra commitment that you are presenting to them. And usually people who are of that caliber, they run away from such, from such requests. And one way you can position yourself to attract this mentorship is to ensure that you are not introducing yourself to them as a problem. And how do you do that? You're going to hear some of this in the subsequent commandments as we share. So just follow through. The next commandment is to come to the table half full. And what I mean by this is the build up on the first commandment, which is, do not appear like the problem. And how do you often appear like the problem? So you're reaching out to someone. Let's say, for instance, you reach out to someone and you're asking for mentorship, right? The first thing that they would usually do is to go on your social media or go on any of your platforms or look back to see if they've engaged with you in any kind of way, right? So if they see that there's no track record, they are often going to, walk away from that conversation, right? You're often going to walk away from that conversation. That's not what you want. You want people to be able to relate with you. You want people to be willing to even offer mentorship to you. Why? Because they've seen that you are not empty. They see that your cup is not empty. They see that at least you have done your own, deed, right? So you have invested in your personal development, and you have shared. They've gone on your page and they've seen that, okay, this person is truly passionate about this, because you are making content about it. You're telling your story about the things that you're passionate about. So they see that, okay, this person is, is committed to this thing that they say they need mentorship on. Now, this is the idea. It is that you reach out to someone, you tell them that you are passionate about XYZ, right? Okay, they say, okay, you are just telling me you are passionate about XYZ. Let me go and check to see whether you are truly passionate about XYZ. And they go on your social media, they cannot find anything that points in that direction. It shows that you are a scam. It shows that you are not being truthful, right? So that's what I mean by come to the table half full. Make sure that you have done your own part, right? At least you have worked on that your passion, or you have worked on that your project to a certain level, to be able to now ask. Because when you ask, they're going to look at your track record, and that is number 2. Number 3 is that your digital footprint is who you are, right? Your digital footprint is who you are. I just made mention of, come to the table half full. And one way you can come to the table half full is if you have, excellently documented your journey from when you started on that path, right? For events that you've attended, you have documented your journey. For projects that you have worked on, you have documented it. For a personal project you've worked on, you have documented it. For maybe the successes that you've had throughout your career, you've documented it. As you are doing that, what you are building is a portfolio, such that when you now want to, pitch yourself, to a potential mentor, or pitch yourself to a potential employer, or to a potential helper, they have something to go back to check if truly you are passionate about these things, right? And a lot of us make a lot of mistakes. Some of you don't want to document your experiences online because you feel like you're shy, or you feel like people begin to say you are overdoing it. No, you are shooting yourself in the foot when you do not, go out of your way to document all of these experiences on your social media. Because nowadays people actually even believe what they find on social media than what you tell them in person. Because you will be in a conversation with someone and you are introducing yourself to the person is asking for your social media handle, or the person is googling you to check you up to see truly what you say you are is what you are. So you have to be very careful what you're putting out there. You have to be very careful how you're putting yourself out there. You also need to also be careful of the next. There's some other commandments I'm going to share very soon. Something very important about the people you relate with. Another thing you need to arm yourself with is the right questions. And I'm going to share a quick story here. I shared the story subsequently. I shared the story in our previous conversations. I'm going to share here also. I was in church one day, and prior to that day, I had heard around that there was a young lady that I heard that she was a web designer, and she's married, she has a child, and I was looking at her, I was like, you're married, you have a child, you're a web developer. That's really fascinating to me. And then I decided, okay, I was going to just get to know her, me being me, trying to build relationships and all. And then I walked up to her. I told her that these are some of the things I've heard about you. I would like to I'm really interested in your story and how that you're able to get around, learning web development. And then she started to talk about what people that she has worked with. Started to talk about, she was just sharing with it. And when she was sharing with me, because I asked a very strategic question, I was able to identify ways that I could contribute value to her. Right. So after she told me about her career in web development, I knew a part of me that I would introduce to her that would help me to connect to the value. And when I was going to introduce myself, I introduced myself. At the time, I was I teach people content writing. I have like an accountability program for people who want to view their content writing skill. And so I just introduced myself. I said, my name is Andrew Igbineweka. These are some of the things I do. I also have an academy where I teach students relevant skills. I have mentors that I connect them to and all of that. And then I told her that I also have a personal accountability program for people, because she wanted to join the academy. I told her that she's above the age, she's not a university student and then she said, okay, that she really wants to take me up on that offer. And then I offered to create an accountability program for her. Why? Because at the point when she was talking to me, she exposed me to all that she does. She told me a lot. And then when I was introducing myself, I was not introducing myself randomly. Like I was not just introducing myself, hey, my name is this, these are so many things I do. No, I was introducing myself as a solution to a problem that I saw that she's likely going to have. Someone who does web development would definitely need someone who creates content. And so when I was introducing myself, that was what I was introducing myself as. And that's something you need to learn, right? Arm yourself with the right questions. If you ask the right questions, you'll be able to identify the opportunities within your network. And a lot of us know a lot of people that can change our lives, but we are not able to identify the value in those relationships. Why? Because every time we chat those people up, or every time they come in contact with us, we are always asking for help. We are not in any way providing solution to the challenges that they are facing, right? So that is something you need to look. I'm telling you for a fact, if you're a business owner, if you're a university student, if you're a career professional, whatever it is you are, there are opportunities within the relationship that you currently have. There are people who will pay you premium for the skills that you currently have. But the reason why you're not accessing the opportunities is because you are not serving your value. And because you're not asking the right questions, you cannot serve the right value. Right? So when you ask people questions, be more interested in getting to know them than you are interested in getting them to know you. Because when you give people the opportunity to share about themselves, they would in turn request to know about you. And now when you're now introducing yourself, you're introducing yourself as a solution in a form, right? You are introducing yourself as a solution to maybe a problem that you have identified that they face. But if you don't ask the right question, you cannot identify the problems that they are facing. It's the same thing you do when you are trying to craft a customer persona, right? You're trying to craft a customer persona. When you want to identify a customer, there are sets of questions you ask them. Say for instance now, if I wanted to bring someone on board to take this course and to take it exclusive, this is a group experience. Imagine I want to reach out to one person and mentor them and get them to begin to take advantage of this knowledge, right? I will not reach out to them and say, hey, what's up, how you doing? I would like for you to sign up to join. No, I won't do that. The people that I will do that for are people that I already have an ongoing conversation with. Either they have been viewing my status, or we've chatted at some point, or we've met at the event. But if I'm reaching out to a new customer, the conversation I will have with that customer are questions. I'll be asking the person questions about what they are currently doing. And the questions would help me to see ways that I can serve them, especially with the value that I have. And it's the same thing for any business owner. As a matter of fact, if you're a business owner, you should be looking for ways to meet new people every day. And when you are meeting these new people, you are asking them questions about their life that would help them to reveal certain things that will help you connect your product to serve them. For instance, you sell soap, bathing soap, for instance. And your customer personnel are people who maybe people who want affordable, solutions for their bathing soap, and people who people who you have identified that probably they have skin issues, and then you have created a product for those kind of people. When you see someone who has the skin issue, you will not just go up there and say, this is your skin, it's not good, come and buy my soap. No, you will ask them questions, right? Questions like, how you doing? Fine. What's this? It's they start telling you about it. And as they start telling you about it, you're not going to jump, come and buy my soap. No, you're going to ask more questions. Okay, so how have you been treating it over the years? You are going to reveal that to you also. And as you're asking and asking, as they are telling you all of that, you're not going, there's someone that used this soap. Look at his face now. As you are sharing all of that, they'll be like, okay, they are interested now in learning about your own solution. Why? Because you have asked sufficient questions to know about their problem and to know about them. That initial conversation is to build trust, right? It's to build trust. When you're asking the right questions, you are basically, it's like going on a date and you're asking questions to get to know the person. And because you're asking questions about them, it gets to a point where they say, okay, enough about me. Let me get to know you. Right? That is the approach to the networking that really counts. Another thing is, you are a product. Sell yourself. Some of us believe that we just believe that when it comes to branding, a lot of us are very aversive to branding. We don't want to do anything in that line. Some of us say, I don't want to put myself out there. I'm not sure how I should put myself out there. Tell your stories. There are amazing stories that you currently have that you can share, right? And as you are sharing those stories, when people read those stories, they are not just seeing your experience, they are seeing your values. They are seeing things about you that can get them to be interested in you, right? They are seeing things about you that can get them to be interested in you. Now we're going to run back on all the things we've said, right? We've talked about, do not appear as a problem. You are a solution to problems your audience are facing, right? We also said that you must come to the table half full. We also said that your digital footprint is who you are, right? So be careful what you're doing online. We also said arm yourself with the right questions. And now we are saying you are a product. Sell yourself. And how do you sell yourself? You sell yourself by telling your stories. You sell yourself by telling the project you're working on, telling us about the project you're working on, telling us about the product that you want to launch, telling us about your past experience, telling us enough for us to know you, to like you, and to trust you. Because when we trust you, that is when we buy from you. That is when we want to do business with you. That is when we want to get you on our project. That is when we want to give you a job. As a matter of fact, when you are called for an interview, it is that the employer has read your CV and they are interested in you. They want to get to know you more. And so they call for an interview. Right? So you need to understand that now they may not have the opportunity to meet you in person, but they can go on your social media to check you out. So as a product, you are supposed to be projecting the aspect of you on social media that is valuable to the people that will be engaging with you. Right? So the next is eat your cake only when you have given it. Eat your cake only when you have given it. Make friends before you need them. That's what it means. Make friends before you need them. Don't wait. I said it in the beginning. I said some of you are waiting to make friends when you need them. You're waiting to reach out to people when you need help. And usually people who are of that caliber, or the funny thing is, a number of us, there are people that we met while we were in the university that we did not connect with. We did not build relationship with them because some of us, had this mentality of, I only talk to a group of people. I have a clique. Some of us used to have cliques in school then. And so the people who would have blessed your life, people who would have elevated you or given you opportunities, you did not take the time to build relationship with them. And then now that they are well positioned It's now you want to reach out to them and, hey, how you doing? It's been a while. How you build relationship before you need them. So eat your cake only when you have given it. And what that also means is that serve people. When you serve people enough, when you contribute value to what other people are doing, if you do so enough, one day they will want to reciprocate all that you have been doing. Right? It's the same thing with the questions. When you're asking the right questions, when you find someone and you want to connect with them, you're asking them the right questions and they are talking, they will get to a point where they get tired. Not that they get tired of talking, but they just feel like, no, it's not fair that they have been talking about themselves. They extend that gesture to you to tell them about you. Right? So create authentic connections with other professionals before asking for a favor. The next is birds of a feather flock together. But the good news is that you are not a bird. You are not a bird, right? Now, this is what this means. It means that you need to diversify your network by connecting with people from different backgrounds, industries, and level of expertise. Why? Those people are exposed to opportunities that you are not exposed to. Right? They are exposed to opportunities that you are not exposed to. And so you need that level of you need that diversified relationships so that you can have access to a variety of information that can help you do your work better. Right? So if you have someone in the tax office, they are able to inform you of tax regulations that may affect the business that you do. You have someone who's a lawyer, they're able to advise you on legal grounds for your business. Diversify your network. And the good thing is you can build this network while on campus. You can build this network while you are doing your NYC. Whatever it is, you can build this network long before you need them. To diversify your network, right? Surround yourself with people who share your values and positively impact your career goals. Don't just build anyhow network because I say diversify and you connect with just about anybody. No. Ensure that your value is what you are using to connect with people. Yeah? Very important. The next is that a friend of a thief is also a thief. Right? A friend of a thief is also a thief. So be careful who you interact with. It's not just about opportunities, it's about the mindset. It's not just about identifying opportunities, it's not just about how that it dents your people's perception of you. If you take a selfie with a thief and you put it online, people are going to just assume that you're a thief also, right? That's not just all there is. Another aspect of it is that when you are in company of thieves or in company of poor-minded people, it tends to rub off on you. You begin to think like them, you begin to behave like them, you begin to act in a certain way, right? So be careful of the people you relate with. Avoid negative relationships that can damage your reputation, and research people's background before entering into any partnership. Not just because someone who is highly placed is reaching out to you, then you just rush. Be careful. Ensure you do your research to know what they are about, to know their value, to see if it aligns with your own personal values. Right? It's very important. Now, this particular conversation is a conversation that I constantly have with people of the faith, especially people who are Christians. A lot of the time, there's this mindset we have that we don't need people, we only need God. And I understand the perception that is trying to, to build. I understand the perspective from which that conversation is coming from. But you need to understand that God doesn't do anything until He finds a man to use. So I'm going to give an example now. So imagine that, there's someone who God has placed to bless you, maybe a man God has put in his heart, and God has ordered you to go and see that man. And then you get to the man's house, you see a gate man, and then you treat the gate man unfairly. You speak to the gate man anyhow. You tell him, come, will you leave the way? Who are you to be telling you're talking to the gate man anyhow? That gate man can shut that gate and you end up not seeing that man who's your helper, right? Just because you treated this person wrongly, right? So you have to have that mindset that you are a god to start with, and that is why you need man. There's this quote I made in 2021. I said that God gave everybody a purpose, and in that purpose, He put a vacuum, and that vacuum is for the people that we meet every day of our life. It's just like Adam and Eve. God made Adam and said it's not good for this man to be alone, and then He made Eve. It's the same mindset, right? There are people you are interacting with every day. As you are interacting with them, you're going to pick things from them that will help you build your idea, right? You're going to pick things from them that will help you build your business. And the same thing, you're going to find some of those relationships very important to helping you grow your business, such that you're going to have them as team members, you're going to have them as partners, you're going to have them as collaborators. That is the mindset to have, right? And if you have this mindset, you will live peaceably with all men. As long as it depends on you, live peaceably with all men, because you never can tell who God is going to raise to bless you. You never can tell who God is going to raise to give you that opportunity, right? Don't be afraid to ask for help or advice, right? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Reach out to people, ask them for help. You see something that they've done before, you want to replicate the same success, ask for help, right? And also, don't be quick to always reach out to people that are above you. Reach out to people that are on your level. Reach out to people that are below you also. If you are able to reach out to people that are below you and groom them, when they get to a level where they can solve problems effectively, they would feel obligated to help you in some way, right? That's the mindset I want you to have, especially about networking, right? So there are some kind of people that you need in your network. You need a mentor, you need a coach, you need an industry expert, you need an industry insider, you need a trendsetter, you need a connector, you need an idealist, you need a realist, you need a visionary. And I'm going to put all of this in context, right? For persons who are shy, for instance, you're here, you are shy, and you feel like you cannot network effectively. The reason why you cannot network effectively is not because you are an introvert. It has nothing to do whether you are introverted or you are shy or you are timid. No, it is that you have not done it before, or you have not done it as consistently as you need to do it to begin to, effectively network. That's the reason. Just like a child, when a child is trying to walk for the first time, they're going to fall down, but the child is persistent. And as he keeps going hard at it, one day you realize that the child is walking effortlessly, and it feels like the child is going to, run away from the house and just keep walking around, right? But the idea is that the child had to go past that initial challenge of stumbling. So that is how you need to approach it. You need to get yourself in the context that allows you to network. Now, if you're a shy person, one other way you can network effectively is to have a connector. Now, this is what I call them networking body. Either a networking body or a networking group. By body, I mean BUDDY. So a networking body, a networking friend, someone that is very extroverted or someone that knows how to network. What they will do is, because you have told them about the things you're passionate about and the kind of people you're looking to connect with, they say, when you go attend events together and they connect you with people, they introduce you to people, and then you pick up the conversation from there. And because they are there and you are there, the pressure is not as much as when you are the only one standing to introduce yourself to a new friend. That's a mindset to also have. Another thing that you can do is to have a group of people, right? You can have a group of people, you attend events together, you network together, you do things together. By the time you have 6 friends or 3 friends that are very good at networking, you will be the 4th person, definitely. That's the idea. Another thing I want to say is to put yourself in the context that allows you to master the emotion. Put yourself in the context that allows you to master the emotion, right? Learning is about education and learning is about emotions, about mastering the emotions, and especially for education and learning is about mastering emotion, especially for creative skills the creative skills, writing, drawing, speaking, design, graphic, all those creative skills. It is more about mastering the emotion. Say, for instance, now, if you want to be very effective in speaking in public, or you want to be effective in networking, you have to get in the context that allows you to master that emotion. And one of the ways I did mine was to I always put myself in positions that provided me the opportunity to speak to people. And so sometimes I randomly meet strangers. I just meet a new person. Hey, how you doing? Get to know them, share my story with them, get to hear their story. We make friends, we exchange contacts like that. Sometimes I meet people and they don't care. Like, I meet people and they're not even interested. It happens, right? It happens. But I move on to the next person. There are thousands of there are a billion persons to be met. Do you understand? If one person are not receptive to my advances, I move on to the next person. And guess what? The more I do it, the more I master the emotion. And as I'm able to master that emotion, it gets to a point where it becomes so effortless. And that's the place where I want to get every one of you to. And that's why I gave you that assignment when I said you need to network with at least 5 new persons before our next meeting. I hope you have done your assignments, right? Because when you are doing that, it puts you in the context that allows you to master the emotion. That is the goal, to master the emotion. When you master the emotion of rejection, you master the emotion of uncertainty. You're not sure whether the person is going to listen to you. You're not sure that person is going to help. Put yourself in that context. By the time you master the emotion, you master the ability to wave off rejection. Ability to, even when people reject you, you are still standing. You have your confidence intact. You know that yes, you've done it. That's when you really win. You win when you have mastered that emotion. It's the same thing with public speaking. It's the same thing with the writing. That's why all of this skill, when we teach it at Go a Bit Further Africa, we always emphasize the practical aspect than the theoretical aspect. Because learning does not occur on that level of theory. It occurs on the level of practical. Right? So take note. Take note. Now the next thing is do not meet a stranger for the first time. Do not meet a stranger for the first time. Remember when I was telling you about the story of that young lady? I told you that I had already asked around and heard conversations around about her. Right? So when I was having a conversation with her, I was not meeting her for the first time. Just that. The same way you go online, there's something I used to do before I attend events, right? I will go online to check up those people. Sometimes I'll see their last post. And so the last post they make online is what will form my conversation when I meet them in person. Right? It tells them that this person is following me. It tells them that this person is part of my community. That's the mindset. Right? So do not meet a stranger for the first time. This one is different from the random strangers I'm talking about, right? But even with those random strangers, there's a way to approach this with this in mind. Now this is how to approach it. Now when I want to meet a stranger, when I want to have a conversation with a stranger, I don't just say, hey, how you doing? My name is I will find a common ground. Like today when I was coming from, I went to see a client and I was coming this evening. I met a young lady inside the bus, right? The common ground was that a song was playing, and then she was humming the song. I was singing the song before she started humming it. That is a common ground. The next thing I did was to ask her a question. I said, you sing? And then she responded, yes. Right? That's a common ground. Upon that common ground, now we can have other conversation. And you can do this with anybody. You always find a common ground, especially when you are in a bus. You find that somebody says something that interests you. You take that content, you build on it, and then you see that they are responding. You are responding like that. Before you know, you have formed a friendship. Right? That is the mind. That is the way, guys. That's the way to crack it. I'm telling you, you can connect with anybody. If you pay attention to these 10 commandments, you can connect with anybody. Right? Now, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, any contributions, put it in the comment, and I'm going to just put it up, and then we'll just talk about it a bit. Right? Just talk about it a bit. But if you do not have any questions, I know that you are going to be assessing this later, so you can still leave your questions there. I'm going to call this a night. I hope your questions come in. As they come in, I respond, and I hope that you are going to, more than listen and watch this, you are also going to apply what you learned. It's very important. A lot of people are, the funny thing is that a lot of people are going to be confused, not because of the things that they do not know, but because of the things that they know that they have not implemented. And that's a really shallow, a really dark place to be in, right? So go and apply what you've learned here today. Just apply it for the fun of it. That's how I learn. Sometimes I learn things online and I try it out just to know it and have an idea of it. Why? Because I know at some point in my journey, I'm going to meet up with someone, I'm going to, have opportunity to interact with someone, and that thing that I've learned is going to form the basis of that conversation. And so I'm always learning new things and trying those new things out, right? So that's the way to learn. That's the way to improve your life. That's the way to evolve. That's the way to identify opportunities and take advantage of those opportunities. Thank you very much for being a part of this. I look forward to your testimonials. Have a blessed evening.